So, yeah, that wasn't fun at all. So, don't really want to talk about it. Let's just roll the open. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Uncle Dan's Best Bets here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Proudly brought to you by our great sponsor, one I'm very thankful for, and one that you should check out as well. Uncle Dan's Best Bets is brought to you by Incognito Menswear. They're located in Penfield. They are phenomenal. Proud sponsors of this show. It's where I get my suits. It's where you should for your weddings, proms, whatever you got going on. Need to get some new clothes. They are the place to go. That's where I'm outfitted for all of my suits going forward. That being said, I let my sponsor down. I let you guys down. It hasn't been great. Yeah, nothing else to really say. I guess this just kind of sums it up.
I feel like I'm dying inside.
But I mean, I'm devastated. Devastated.
I just want it to stop.
I don't know what else I can say. And if you want me to say up, I up. Write it.
Yeah, last week, not great, Bob. 3-8, and the cherry on top of getting kicked in the nuts was the Ravens not covering after they were the right side the entire game. They give up a who cares touchdown. They stop the 2-point conversion to still be covering. They don't recover the onside kick. The Cardinals kick a who cares field goal to just spit in our face at the end of a brutal day. It has been 2 brutal weeks, the 2 worst weeks we have had in Uncle Dan's Best Bets in quite some time. 2-8 and 3-8. That is 5-16 in our last 2 weeks. We are now under 500 for the first time this year. And for the first time, really, we're never usually under 500. 31, 35, and 1. Not good enough. But if you think that I'm going to roll over and start having smaller cards and just betting favorites, you're wrong. Shoot or shoot. And I can promise you this.
I'm sorry. Extremely sorry. We were hoping for an undefeated season. That was my goal. But I promise you one thing. A lot of good will come out of this because this will motivate me personally to never let something like this happen again. God bless.
So, yeah, we will turn it around. That is what we do here, and I get it. And I apologize for people that follow the picks. I will say shout out. A lot of people were really happy that I got a sponsor for this segment. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to give you picks. I'm not just throwing darts at the board. I put a lot of thought into this, and we will bounce back. Again, shooters shoot. Sometimes we're the bug. Sometimes we're the windshield. We've been the bug the last 2 weeks. I believe we will bounce back and become the windshield starting this week. And again, if you think I'm going to take smaller cards and start taking, minus 300 favorites, you're wrong. We're going to keep shooting and we will hit because that is what we do here on Uncle Dan's Best Bets. So we move forward, we turn the page and we move forward. And guess what? I got another 10 plays for you this week. Yeah. I'm not going to say I like the board because last week I said that and it didn't work out. So I will just say I don't hate the board. How about that? We will try that. 10 more plays and they will begin early. And I got notes and I want to kind of put them in here as best as I can. I will start out bright and early. I like the Chiefs and the Dolphins. They are playing in Germany, and I like the under 51. A couple of reasons. The big one, it is supposed to be windy in Germany for this game. And when the wind, it's supposed to be projected to be 13 to 14 miles per hour of wind. Games this season where there have been wind over 10 miles per hour, the under is 15, 4, and 1. Wind affects more than anything else. Rain, snow, anything. Wind affects the total. So we will take the under 51. We also know for the most part that the Dolphins have struggled against pretty good teams and the Chiefs have a really good defense. Okay, so this is part of it. So the wind is a factor in taking the under in this one. Also in the game, I will take the Chiefs minus the small number. You can get it right now as I record this on Thursday night at minus 1.5. Couple of reasons why. Here's one for you. Patrick Mahomes, 9-3 against the spread after a game where he scores 20 points or less. This is a bounce back spot for Patrick Mahomes. You can get them cheap. And Tua, 9-11-1 against the spread on the road. He's not as good away from Hard Rock Stadium as he is at Hard Rock Stadium. Factor all of those things in. Miami, 6-2. Everybody's like, oh, they're small underdog. You can get them the points. Here's a stat for you. I'm going to use this a couple times this week. Teams with a winning percentage of 70 or more. Miami, pretty good winning percentage, right? Those teams as underdogs since the start of last season, 17-30-1. I will say it again. Teams with a winning percentage of 70 or higher who are underdogs. Everybody thinks that, hey, I can get a good team plus the points. Let's do it. It's sucker money. Those teams are 17-30-1 against the spread since the start of last season. Don't take the cheese in this spot. Back the better team, and that is the Chiefs. We know that Miami hasn't beat a team with a winning record since week 3 of last season when they beat the Bills in that game that was played on the surface of the sun. I love the Chiefs here. I will lay the small number with Patrick Mahomes to bounce back after a bad performance against the Broncos to get the win. All right. So that's what I got in Germany to start out today. So we'll have a cup of coffee. We'll be 2-0, and then we'll move on. Give me the Falcons -4.5 against the Vikings. This is pretty much a spot where I like Taylor Heinicke. I haven't been a huge fan of Desmond Ridder. They go to Taylor Heinicke. He will take more chances against a Vikings defense that is not very good. And obviously, I think there's an emotional letdown spot for Minnesota after losing Kirk Cousins. We've seen it in Buffalo where you have a couple of these injuries and it kind of rocks the team for a little bit. I think that's what we will see with Minnesota. They had a lot of buzz. I love them against the Packers, or I love the Packers against them. It didn't work out. Cousins goes down. Now they're going with Jaren Hall. So I will take in this spot Taylor Heinicke, laying the small number at home, get Heinicke to use all the weapons there. I like the Falcons to cover -4 in that one. Camera's going wonky on me. All right, moving right along. Next game, Seahawks +6. This is the only one that I'm going against that trend that I told you about, teams with a winning percentage of over 70. This is kind of that one. All right. So, but my thought here is the Seahawks +6, getting a touchdown on the road at Baltimore. Lamar's not that good. I know he's really good against the NFC, straight up. He's now 16-1, I believe, against, or 16-1 straight up against the NFC. But he's 12-21-1 as a home favorite. He's even worse. He's 9-16 against the spread as a home favorite at 1:00 games. He's really good. He just doesn't seem to cover all that much at home. Geno is a pretty good underdog covering quarterback, and I love Seattle's defense. They are a real problem. I think they can stop the run, and I love their secondary. It is now not known. It used to be the Legion of Doom. Now it's the Legion of Spoon. Devin Witherspoon is legit. I like this team. Maybe a small letdown spot for the Ravens. They get the win. I don't know. I'm just going to go with what I see is the Ravens are really good as underdogs, not great as big favorites, especially at home with Lamar. So I will take the touchdown. This is the only one that goes against that trend that I was telling you about. So tread cautiously. Next game, I want points. Panthers, Colts, over 43.5. This one should just be fun. The Colts score. This is a team. The Colts have the worst defense in the league. They are allowing a ton of points. And the Panthers are the third worst defense in the league, points-wise. So both teams are allowing over 28 points per game. The Colts have scored over 20 points in, I believe, 12 straight games. They're the only team in the league that has done it in every game this season. So the Colts are scoring 25 points per game, allowing 28. I'm not great at math, but I know that's an over. That simple. I like what the Panthers have done. It'll be the second week with a new offensive play caller. I thought Bryce Young looked better last week. So give me points over 43.5, Panthers and Colts. And then the division game, I like the Eagles -3 against the Cowboys. This goes back to that stat. Teams with a winning percentage, again, over 70% as an underdog, 17-30-1 against the spread. Dak not as good as home. Cowboys really haven't beat any good teams. I think the Eagles are a good team. I think they get up for this game. I like the Eagles. The fact that they're at home, big plus for me. I will take the Eagles at home. Okay, now we move on to our Sunday night picks. A lot of why people are here, my Bills takes on this one. Okay, I like the over. Bills and Bengals, it's at 49.5. I really like what I saw against the Bills going up tempo, things like that. I'm not really concerned about the punts. I think they took their foot off the gas a little bit because, well, they could. I don't think that's too much of a reason to say. I think they played the field position game a little bit too much. They let their foot off the gas. So I like the over. I think that this will be the best offense that the Bills defense has faced. I think this is where they could get exposed a little bit. Okay. I don't know if Rasul Douglas is ready to go. I think he'll play to some capacity. I don't see why you wouldn't dress him trying to get something on the field if he just knows basic coverages. But the way that this Bengals offense is playing is just at an extremely high level, very confident. Dane Jackson, we talked to him this week. He said you can tell the difference between the first 4 weeks and what they've been doing the last 3 to 4 weeks. And he said chemistry. We're like, how can you see chemistry on film? He's like, you just can tell. All their timing, it's just better. They are clicking. Joe Burrow is healthy. I think this game gets played in the 20s. I know the Bengals defense, their secondary can be exposed. I like Josh to continue to roll with spreading the ball around. I think that was a big step last week. Neutralizing exotic blitzes, neutralizing what the defense can do by you dictating them, by going up tempo, no huddle, all of those things. I love that. So I think this game gets played in the 20s. I think the winning team probably scores in the 30s. So I like the over. I think this game easily finishes in the 50s. I also like Joe Mixon over 63.5 rushing yards. Bills rushing defense isn't great. They have holes in there. I don't think that some of their acquisitions will be ready in time. Mixon has been good the last few weeks. I think if I had to pick a side, and I'm not, I'd lean Bengals in this spot. The Bills are underdogs for the first time in 27 games since the 13-2 game against Kansas City in the playoffs. That's how long it has been since they have been underdogs. So if this is the way that the game goes, I think they can lean on the Bills' lack of rushing defense. The Bills have allowed a ton of chunk yards on the ground, explosive plays. They've given up a bunch. So I will take Joe Mixon to be involved in this game over 63.5 rushing yards. On the Bill side, I got 2 props, including my best bet 2-unit play. I like Dalton Kincaid. If it's not broke, don't fix it. He has become a massive part of this Bills offense, and he has opened up the field for Josh Allen. I love that I'm starting to see him get a couple more bigger plays. 22-yard touchdown last week. Really nice play along the sidelines. He will be a massive factor in this game for the Bills if they have a chance. His total is over 38.5 receiving yards. I don't think there's any problem with that. He is becoming the number 2 option right now in this Bills offense and a go-to guy for Josh Allen. I love that. We hit it last week early. Let's try it again in this week against the Bengals, whose secondary can be picked apart. George Kittle last week had about 138 receiving yards. There's weaknesses in that secondary or in that linebacker spot to attack. I like Dalton Kincaid to have 40 receiving yards. I don't think that's crazy. I got it on DraftKings right now on Thursday night. I'm sure it will go up maybe by the time it gets to the weekend. And finally, trying to go up tempo like the Bills did to try and get some rhythm with some picks. My final pick is my 2-unit best bet play of the week. I believe I'm 3-5 now on the season after the Colts didn't cover last week. So we will go to something that has already hit earlier this week. Stefon Primetime Diggs. We talked about it earlier this week when I bet earlier this year. I bet it week 1. Stefon Diggs in primetime is a different beast for whatever reason. When the lights get brighter, Stefon Diggs plays better. Last year, the Bills played 5 games in primetime on Thursday night, Monday night, or Sunday night. He had 122 yards against the Rams, 148 against the Titans, 108 against the Packers, 77 on Thanksgiving against the Lions, and 92 on Thursday night against the Patriots. This year, the Bills have played 3 games in primetime. He has had 102 yards against the Jets, 100 yards against the Giants, and 70 yards against the Bucs. But again, they kind of took their foot off the gas there. The Bengals secondary is susceptible to get beat. And for the Bills to win this game, I think they're going to have to score a lot of points. And if that's the case, Stefon Diggs will be leaned upon to do that. And if you don't think that Stefon Diggs is going to be fired up for this game, especially when the last time the Bills played the Bengals, there's the clip of Diggs on the sidelines. They will play that several times. My over-under on how many times that gets played is 2.5, because that will be a talking point. And Stefon Diggs will want to shut up that narrative of the last time they played. The Bengals got the better of Stefon in that last game. I don't think that will happen again this week especially with the emergence of Gabe and Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid and all of those things. Stephon Diggs will be that dude once again in the bright lights. So the last 8 games in prime time, Stephon Diggs has averaged 102 receiving yards. So his over-under total is 87.5 rushing yards. I will take that. I think he goes over 120. I think he is leaned upon heavily by Josh Allen to catch balls all across the field. Because if the Bills have any chance to win, Josh has to be special, and that involves Stephon Diggs being special as well. So there are the 10 plays. We will bounce back this week. Chiefs, Dolphins under, Chiefs -1.5, Falcons -4, Seattle +6, Colts, Panthers over 43.5, Eagles -3, and then the Sunday night game, we will take the Bills, Bengals over 49.5, Mixon over 63.5 rushing yards, Kincaid over 38.5 receiving yards, and the best bet for the second time this year, let's go 2 for 2 on it. Stephon Primetime Diggs shines bright once again with over 87.5 receiving yards. Again, let's bounce back. I don't want to talk about the past anymore. I almost said I guarantee a winning week. I like the card this week. I don't not like the card. How about that for you? Last week I said I loved the card. We're not going to do that. But those are the 10 plays. Let's bounce back. Comment in with your plays. Let me know what you think about some of these. Again, Uncle Dan's Best Bets, proudly brought to you by Incognito Menswear. They're located in Pittsford. Awesome selection. Great people there. Awesome little shop. Anything else? Like, comment, subscribe to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Let's have a fun weekend. How about that? Let's bounce back. Positive vibes only. We bounce back this week and we get back above 500. Thanks so much for watching here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Best of luck to you this weekend. We'll catch you next time here on Uncle Dan's Best Bets.